At 28, my life revolves largely around fitness, health, and now, unexpectedly, a bit of drama too. I work as a fitness trainer and run a health blog, a combination that led me to Benjamin at the sports center. His infectious energy was impossible to overlook, and soon, we found ourselves swept up in a whirlwind romance. Let me paint a picture of a pivotal summer day when I was about to meet Benjamin's family for the first time. Despite the heat, I chose a simple, knee-length dress with short sleeves, thinking it was understated yet appropriate. Benjamin had hinted that his family was quite traditional and protective, especially his mother, Emma, who he described with an ambiguous tone. Her strong opinions, he cautioned, shouldn't be taken personally, advice I'd soon realize was more of a forewarning. Upon arriving at their home, Benjamin's younger brother Jack greeted us warmly, his smile a welcome relief. Then Emma appeared, and the atmosphere seemed to cool instantly. Her gaze lingered critically on me, particularly my arms, due to the summer heat. "Is this how you dress to meet your future mother-in-law? A bit bold, don't you think?" she remarked sharply. Stunned, I struggled for a response but managed to express that I thought my outfit was decent and comfortable given the weather. Emma, however, was not appeased, stressing the importance of first impressions. Benjamin intervened, trying to defuse the tension, but Emma's disapproval was palpable. Dinner was fraught with tension. Emma's earlier comments cast a shadow over the evening, although Jack tried to keep things light with jokes and stories, for which I was grateful. Benjamin offered me reassuring glances, but the discomfort lingered. Later, while helping with the dishes, Emma took me aside. "I'm just looking out for my son," she said. "He's a good boy, and I don't want him to make a mistake." I was taken aback, assuring her of my genuine love for Benjamin and my serious intentions, but she remained skeptical. The ride home was somber. Benjamin apologized for his mother's behavior, clearly distressed himself. We both acknowledged the potential difficulties ahead if this was how things were starting. As we plunged into wedding planning, Benjamin and I were enthusiastic, choosing decorations, tasting cakes, and selecting outfits. I fell for a stunning yet somewhat bold wedding dress, which I adored until Emma saw it. "You plan on wearing that in front of the whole family? It looks like you're aiming for a beach party rather than a wedding," she exclaimed upon seeing it. I attempted to brush it off, mentioning the modern style and the warm weather, but it was clear that navigating our future with Emma would require patience, understanding, and perhaps a bit of strategic compromise. Benjamin gently squeezed my hand, signaling me to avoid an argument we were unlikely to win. However, Emma's displeased expression and her muttering about tradition and decency as she walked away made it clear she was not happy. If a mere dress could cause such a stir, I wondered what else awaited us after this initial disagreement with her. After the clash, things settled into a strained normalcy. I immersed myself in work and my blog, which was a sanctuary for me, a space where I felt in control and could express my passion for fitness and health. It never occurred to me that this same passion would once again cause unrest. One relaxed evening, as Benjamin and I lounged on the sofa, he began to frown at something on his phone. "We need to talk," he said gravely. I sat up, alarmed. "What's wrong?" He showed me my Instagram profile, pointing out the comments under my latest post. Supportive, some flirty, but nothing unusual. "It's my mom," Benjamin sighed. "She's making a big deal out of every single male comment, spinning it like you're inviting attention." I felt a surge of frustration. "It's just Instagram," I protested. "People comment. That's how it works." Benjamin agreed, but explained that his mother was convincing everyone I was being unfaithful. The suggestion that I might need to police who can comment on my posts was well-intentioned but maddening. I refused to censor my account just because his mother had a distorted perception of me. As the Instagram drama continued, with Emma twisting my every move into a scandal, things became even more complicated. Jack, a coworker who lived nearby, started giving me rides home from the gym. It was a simple matter of convenience, but not in Emma's eyes. At a family dinner, she made pointed remarks about Jack's presence, insinuating something more. Tension escalated, with Benjamin caught between defending me and managing his family dynamics. The drive home that night was painfully silent, the air thick with unspoken accusations. I was astonished at how low Emma could stoop, using Jack's kindness as a weapon. Finally, I reached my breaking point. I told Benjamin that his mother was no longer welcome in our home. Her constant insinuations were too much to bear. It felt like declaring war, and Emma's reaction was explosive. This conflict had escalated to a boiling point I had never anticipated. When Emma found out about my decision to limit her visits, she was outraged, but by then, her constant criticisms and accusations had drained me of any patience. However, the real turmoil began a few months later when I discovered I was pregnant. What should have been a time of joy quickly devolved into chaos. Upon hearing the news, Emma started spreading a vile rumor, suggesting to Benjamin that the child might not be his, given the many men at the gym. "How do you know it's yours?" She poisoned his mind with doubt. Witnessing the change in Benjamin as he absorbed his mother's toxic words was heart-wrenching. The doubt in his eyes felt like a betrayal, eroding the strong bond we once shared. One evening, after overhearing another of their troubling phone conversations, I confronted him. "So, you think I'm cheating? That this baby isn't yours?" My voice was sharp, tinged with hurt and anger. Benjamin appeared conflicted, a shadow of himself. "I don't know what to think anymore, Erica. My mom, she's got all these ideas." I interrupted him, my disbelief evident in every word. He offered no defense, just shuffled his feet and avoided my gaze. His silence was more telling than any words could have been. From that moment, our relationship grew colder. Our interactions were terse, the atmosphere heavy with suspicion and doubt. The joy of expecting our baby was overshadowed by this looming cloud. When our baby boy was born, his fair hair and bright blue eyes filled me with hope that perhaps our family could heal. However, instead of mending fences, his appearance only fueled more speculation because of my brunette, dark-eyed husband. In desperation, I showed Emma and Benjamin childhood photos of myself, blonde and blue-eyed, just like our son, trying to explain genetics. Emma remained skeptical, scoffing at the timing of these genetic traits and hinting that Jack's similar features didn't help my case. The tension reached a breaking point at our son's first birthday party. In front of all our guests, Emma demanded a DNA test, proclaiming loudly that the child looked nothing like her son. I was furious and humiliated. "Are you out of your mind, Emma? Accusing me in front of everyone?" I retorted, my voice laden with indignation. Just when I needed Benjamin's support the most, he sided with his mother. "Actually, we're doing it," he stated coldly. "If you've got nothing to hide, then there's no issue. We do the test or we're done. I can't be married to someone I don't trust." I was stunned. "You're serious right now? You're choosing your mom's craziness over me, over your son?" He was unmoved, his stance firm. "It's not just my mom. There's too much doubt and too much talk. The test will settle this one way or another." The ultimatum shattered any remaining trust between us, marking a painful chapter in what had once been a loving relationship. With a heavy heart, I confronted the situation. "Pack your bags and stay somewhere else." "I can't look at you, not now, with these doubts." Benjamin's words pierced through me, leaving a bitter coldness behind. There I was, hastily packing, my hands trembling from a mix of fury and pain, while our baby boy watched, his innocent eyes wide, unaware as his secure world began to fall apart. Driven by desperation, I found refuge at the only place I felt safe, my mother's house. She greeted me with open arms. Barely inside, I broke down, explaining through sobs, "He's kicked us out, Mom. All because of some DNA test. Emma has convinced him we need it." My mom's anger flared, and she was ready to confront Benjamin. "Over my dead body," she fumed. But I held her back. "No, it's not worth it, not now." That night was long and sleepless. I replayed every moment, trying to understand how our love had unraveled to this point, doubting our baby's paternity and Jack being wrongly dragged into this nightmare because of Emma's spite. Word of the debacle at my son's birthday spread like wildfire. Friends, neighbors, and even distant acquaintances whispered about the scandal, turning my life into a living nightmare. Resolved to clear my name, I decided to proceed with the DNA test. I called Benjamin, my voice calm, but my hands still shaky. "I'll do the test," I declared. There was a pause before Benjamin responded, his too composed tone grating on me. "I knew you'd come around. It's for the best." At the clinic, my nerves were frayed. Benjamin was there, burdened with guilt, and to my shock, so was Jack. "Why is he here?" I demanded, unable to mask my frustration. Benjamin looked away, mumbling about the rumors involving Jack and me. The accusation stung. "You think I'd be unfaithful with your brother? That's how little you trust me." Before he could respond, we were called in for the testing. The specialist explained the complexity of the situation, especially with potential fathers being siblings. "We'll need additional samples from everyone, including you, Erica, to ensure accuracy." So we all gave our samples, each lost in our thoughts. Jack embarrassed, Benjamin torn, and I furious at the absurdity of the situation. After the tests, the specialist informed us it would take a couple of weeks for the results. Those weeks were excruciating. I wasn't idle, though. I made calls, reaching out to someone who might help in this delicate matter, not sure where it would lead, but willing to try anything. The wait was torture, leaving me anxious about the future for my son and me. As Benjamin, Jack, and I awaited the DNA test results, the tension in Emma's living room was almost tangible, like icy fingers tightening around my heart. My young son, sensing the brewing storm, clutched my hand, confused and anxious. Emma, ever keen to play the orchestrator of drama, dramatically sliced open the envelope with a flourish, her eyes gleaming with the hope of a scandal that would prove her right. Her anticipation turned to palpable disappointment as she peered inside. "The father is Benjamin," she declared, her voice losing its usual edge. Benjamin, who had been visibly tense, relaxed instantly, a smug smile spreading across his face. He turned to me, his arrogance returning. "Well, there you have it, no harm done, right? You can come back home now." His words sparked a fierce mix of disbelief and anger within me. I couldn't contain a bitter laugh. "Come back? After all this, you must be joking," I retorted. Benjamin was taken aback by my reaction. "But you're innocent, Erica. Isn't that what you wanted?" That's when I decided to reveal my hand. I pulled out the divorce papers I'd kept hidden, placing them on the table. The room fell silent, and Benjamin's confident expression drained away, replaced by sheer panic. "What's this? Why?" he stammered. "Divorce papers," I said, the words tasting like freedom. And then I produced the photos, clear evidence of Benjamin's infidelity, captured in vivid detail by the private investigator I'd secretly hired. Benjamin's demeanor shifted from confident to broken as he began to babble apologies, his facade crumbling. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Please, let's talk about this." "Talk," I scoffed, my voice icy. "You dragged my name through the mud, let your mother accuse me of the worst, and all the while, you were the one cheating. There's nothing to talk about." Emma tried to intervene, her previous eagerness for drama now replaced by a desperate need to manage the fallout. "Now, dear, let's all calm down. We can fix this." "Fix this?" I snapped back. "Your son's a cheat, and you're no better for stirring up all this trouble based on lies." After presenting the proof of Benjamin's betrayal for everyone to see, the room became a battleground of broken bonds and shattered illusions. Emma, with a look of sheer disgust, couldn't tear her eyes away from the photos laid out like a damning expose on the coffee table. "I'm not just walking away, Benjamin. I'll be demanding alimony and compensation for this treachery," I declared, my voice steady but seething with anger. Benjamin's face turned pale, his earlier bravado evaporating. "You can't be serious," he stammered, looking from the photos to his mother, seeking any refuge or rescue. Emma, still trying to assert some control, retorted dismissively, "Oh, please. She was never right for you. She would have cheated on you sooner or later. You're better off without her." Her words were meant to sting, but they only solidified my resolve to leave this toxic environment behind and start anew, with my dignity intact. As the confrontation reached its peak, Jack, who had been simmering with contained anger, finally erupted. Enough! His voice resounded through the room, his frustration palpable. He directed a steely gaze at his mother and brother. I'm done with all of this, with both of you. After everything you've put her through, based on nothing but your twisted suspicions, I'm out. Emma's face shifted to a mask of shock and desperation. Jack, please don't say that. I was just trying to protect our family, she pleaded. Protect? Jack scoffed, his voice dripping with disdain. Is that what you call this? Destroying relationships? Spreading lies? I can't be part of this family if this is what it stands for. I'm moving to another city, starting fresh, away from all this madness. Later, when I relayed Jack's decision and the day's events to my mother, she provided her usual steadfast support, though tinged with sadness. That's the price of Emma's folly. Her arrogance and stupidity cost her sons. Maybe now she'll realize the harm she's caused. True to his word, Jack moved away, severing ties with his family. Benjamin was left to grapple with the fallout, his relationships with his mother and brother irreparably damaged by the chasm of deceit and manipulation that had widened between them. Life after the dust settled was different. It wasn't necessarily easier, but it was clearer, as if I were seeing everything for the first time again. My mother and I had many long conversations about everything that had happened, often sitting on her old, comfy sofa with cups of tea that always seemed to go cold before we finished them. Mom, I started one evening, the sky outside serene in contrast to the turmoil I still felt inside. Do you think I made the right choice? With the divorce, standing up to Emma and Benjamin like that? My mom set her tea down and turned to me, her wise eyes reflecting a lifetime of understanding. Darling, you did what you had to do. You stood up for yourself, for your dignity. That's more important than staying in a marriage that was built on distrust. The biggest change was with Jack. Before he left the city, he called me. I can't stay here, not after everything. I need to start fresh somewhere where every corner doesn't remind me of all this. I reassured him, you'll always have a friend in me, Jack. You were the only one who really saw me through all this mess. He chuckled, a sound that carried the weight of our shared experiences. And you, me. Take care of yourself, all right? After hanging up, I felt a pang of loss, not just for the relationship I thought I had with Benjamin, but for the family dynamic I had once believed in. Time passed and life found a new rhythm. My blog gained more traction, becoming a space where I could share not just tips on fitness and health, but also personal stories of resilience and starting over. It resonated with people more than I expected. One afternoon, as I was settling into this new chapter, my phone rang unexpectedly. The caller ID displayed a name I hadn't seen in a while, Emma. My initial instinct was to ignore it, but curiosity, or perhaps a desire to finally close this chapter, compelled me to answer. Hello. Her voice came through, shaky and tinged with what seemed like regret. Erica, I was wondering, could I see him, my grandson? The audacity of her request, after everything that had happened, left me momentarily speechless. Standing in my living room, the memory of Emma's hurtful accusations came flooding back as I listened to her voice on the phone. You've got some nerve, Emma, I said, my voice calm but resolute. After all the chaos you caused, now you want to play grandma? You didn't even want to acknowledge him before. She began to cry, her voice breaking with apologies, trying to explain herself amid sobs. But I was beyond accepting excuses. Save your tears, Emma. It's too late for sorry now. I interrupted, my patience worn thin. But please, I just want to make things right, she pleaded, desperation clear in her trembling words. I let out a deep, weary sigh. You should have thought of that before, I told her. You made your bed. Now you get to lie in it alone. Without waiting for her response, I ended the call. The click of the phone hanging up reverberated like a gavel in my mind, sealing the decision I had made. It felt harsh, perhaps, but it was necessary. A boundary had been set. For the first time in a long while, I felt truly in control of my life and my decisions. Looking at my son, now showing a maturity beyond his years, I knew we were going to be okay. We had each other, and a future that was ours alone to shape, free from the shadows of the past.